Da-da-da. Da-da-da-da. Good morning. Welcome to Community Voice. I'm your host, Keith Parris. I want to thank everybody.
Give it to him this morning.
Let me start off early.
When you leave, can you start with a prayer?
No, I ain't gonna start with a prayer because it's all good. I walked in. Now we know when I walked in this morning and I looked out in the reception area, and Jackie had on Green Bay Packer gear.
Packers must have won.
The Packers must have won.
Do you think she would not have had that on if they had
Oh
lost?
man, I was thinking about Jackie that whole second half. Like, what's Jackie gonna wear to work tomorrow? Because they survived that game in spite of 3 bonehead turnovers.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Oh man.
Not the first one where they lost that other one when he threw 3 interceptions.
But that was Philly, right?
Yeah.
He threw 3 against Philly. But Packers, they're good, but they just had the misfortune of playing in the best division in the NFL right now. Everybody's over 500.
Yeah, that NFC is rough.
Yeah. And but you know who had a great game yesterday?
Who was that?
Craig's cousin. Yeah, number 24 Stingley. He was on it. Now they hit everybody else, but they won after a while. They just stopped throwing his way. But you know what? He was a stud at LSU. Injuries, he had some injuries, but that dude he's top flight corner. So anyway, the Packers did win. How about the kicker? I was going to say, how about the kicker?
That's how they won it. Now that other dude, I'm sure he was somewhere like, I hope he missed.
No, Reed had decided to come out the end zone, right? And when got tackled on the 3-yard line. Reminds anybody of anything? Mr. Montgomery deciding to do that instead. So anyway, he comes out there. Yeah, so then I think it must have been the next either punt. They put him back there, and he did a fair catch, and you could hear the crowd cheering because he did a fair catch.
About time.
Good decision, man. Good decision. So
yeah, he did come out of there.
Where was he going? Where?
It was the heat of the moment, I guess.
Oh man, you gotta maintain.
Yeah.
But where was he going?
3 versus where you would have been if you'd have just downed it.
25-yard line. And we at the 3-yard line. But anyway, and you know what? I'm becoming more and more a fan of Jordan Love. He can throw the rock.
Yes, he can.
But he makes some decisions that you be like, dude. And I understand that. Look, you have not been a regular starter. Some stuff you just got to get out there, and you just gotta.
It didn't make no difference though, because we had a guy in number 4 that it didn't matter how long he had been a starter. He would try to thread the needle.
That dude.
Guy could be triple covered. He think he can get it in there.
That dude. Me and Michelle had the opportunity to talk to Antonio Freeman.
Yeah, I recall.
And he talked about the Oakland game, his daddy game. But if you watch those catches, it was the receivers. They stretching. Yeah. And he set Antonio Freeman up because he was saying now he took something.
Coming across that
middle, man.
Send him across that middle.
Right. And if
those
you throw
slants,
that,
man.
and you throw that slant behind, which means that now that receiver is wide open, going to get hit.
He's out there.
He's going to be hit, man. But all is good. All is good.
Have you talked to Harvey?
I spoke with Harvey on Friday. Harvey, welcome back.
Yo, what's going on?
Hey, the mic is working.
Yeah.
You gave him a Mr. Microphone?
Yeah, he's got something over there.
You remember Mr. Microphone, Harvey?
Wow.
A lot of us get our start in radio. We started off with Mr. Microphone. Everybody,
yeah.
little portable microphone, and the whole. Were you? When was the first time you did something publicly on a microphone? How old were you, Carvin?
I've always been a performer, like as a kid. So, I could go far as like elementary, like doing like performances, at school.
Okay.
What kind of stuff did you do at school?
At a young age?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe like, them shows that they put together, like Christmas, you go and do like, you know, the program, Christmas program or something.
Do you remember any of the speeches or what have you that you did?
Did you?
Nah, see, I wasn't no valedictorian or nothing like that.
Talking about the speeches you might get for the play. Your lines.
No, we usually sang songs.
You
wrote a song about it.
You recall any of those songs?
Bill Withers.
Lovely Day.
Lovely Day.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
I'll never forget it.
It's
stuck. Wait, say it again.
You guys didn't do Lean on Me?
Lean on Me? No, we did Bill Withers.
That is Bill Withers.
Oh.
That was his first hit.
Both of those are Bill Withers.
Oh, sorry.
Bill Withers.
Can we hear a little? Can we hear a little something?
No, we did Bill Withers.
That's like he died and he dead. that mic's gonna be a problem. Oh, here we go.
Oh man,
we did Lovely Day.
He did Lovely Day, but he did Lovely Day after
Bill
Lean on Me.
Oh, Bill Withers. I thought you guys probably would have did Lean on Me. No, we did Bill Withers. Yeah, that was Bill Withers too. Probably his bigger hit than Lovely
Anybody
Day.
who ever played keyboards back in the 70s, the first little thing you learned was Lean on Me. It was such a simple chord progression.
Dun, 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 dun,
Yeah,
dun, dun,
and then the one that I picked up on was "Color My World" by Chicago. Do 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 do. You didn't do "Color My World"?
Lean on Me, yes.
Everybody did "Lean on Me."
You know that was Bill Withers, right? There, your mic is on. You know they can.
No, he said going to turn the ear on.
He whispering.
414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Congressman Meeks, unfortunately, there will not be a Subway World Series this year.
Yeah.
It's going to be Transcontinental.
Yeah, this is true.
Them Dodgers, them Bums, and the New York Yankees are in the World Series.
I had such high hopes for the Mets, though, man. I thought they would.
Yeah.
Once they went down, what was it, 3-1?
Wasn't there some record they set for the number of runs that they scored in this series?
Yeah,
I mean, they were putting up some points, man. I'm putting up some runs. So that should be interesting. I'm going to go with the Yankees. Go with the Yankees.
You think?
Yeah. Now, Congressman Meeks did point something out that the last two baseball franchises to integrate was the New York Yankees, and then finally the Boston Red Sox was the last one to actually integrate. So great for New York, great for LA, great for Major League Baseball. They have the two biggest markets in America competing. That's how if you wrote it up, that's how you won it.
Somebody had already predicted that those two would be there.
And it's amazing because
I think it was you and
three of the top five payrolls
as far as payrolls, yeah,
were in the both the league championship series. But the Yankees just crushed the Guardians. That was very interesting. Let me shout out the good folks there, the NAACP. I had the honor of being the MC for their for the Freedom Fund dinner, the 100-year anniversary of the Freedom Fund dinner. And so let me thank them for putting trust in me that I'd be able to get up and to get them from point A to point B. Let me say this, and I'm just going to be honest, man. Lift Every Voice and Sing can get a little tedious sometimes, depending on who's performing it and how it is performed. Was it last year at the Super Bowl where Cheryl Lee Ralph and the background singers decided they were going to march as we march on? Yeah, I mean, it was. But the young lady that sang Lift Every Voice and Sing, I think her last name was Mallet, is one of the best, if not the best renditions of Lift Every Voice I've heard. She was incredible. And shout out to Lincoln Russell Jr., who is just an incredible keyboardist. And it was it just set the tone. It set the tone for the whole dinner. And so again, let me shout out the good folks that organized it It looked like it was very well attended. And before the programs had gotten out, it was rumored that I might be the MC. Regular listeners would come up and basically say, "Don't mess up." All I'm doing is reading, man. Don't mess up. So there was some pressure, Devo. There was definitely some pressure. Definitely some pressure. But yeah, that was really really interesting. I'm hoping to make this happen. It was and if the Ducks line up the way they line up, and hopefully they will. Michelle talked about it, and a little bit later in the program, we will have joining us live Senator Tammy Baldwin. But I am troubled by some of the undercurrents that we're having as it relates to how people are responding to candidates, and particularly how folks are responding to female candidates. You know, everything from, if you look at Vice President Harris questioning whether or not she's black. Let me just clear this up. I was listening to someone, and they were talking about descendants of Africans in the diaspora, right? That's those of us here in North America, South America, the Caribbean, Europe, wherever we find ourselves, because of enslavement and colonization, we find ourselves in a diaspora. Those folks who are currently not living in Africa. And so we talk about the diaspora and what it was. And this woman was having a conversation, and she said something that was really interesting that I thought about it if you just look at a sociological categorizing of a particular group of people. She said that if you say black, that is descendants of enslaved Africans who were in the United States of America. So they refer to us as U.S. descendants of enslaved Africans throughout the world as black, or they'll say Americans, right? Black Americans. But when you're talking about people from the Caribbean, they'll say they're from Jamaica. They say they're from Barbados, right? They said so it's very specific based on where then these folks are from outside of North America, and particularly the U.S. So technically, if you look at it, yes, Kamala Harris is a descendant of enslaved Africans, but her descendancy comes from a Caribbean root. Her father was Jamaican. Okay, so he still is of African descent / black. Okay, but when they talk about black in the world, most people then say, "Well, you're talking about Americans, you know, descendants of enslaved Africans who are American," which I think is a very interesting distinction. Someone was talking about why it was so difficult to elect a black mayor in Boston, Massachusetts. Part of the problem, they said, was that when you look at the descendants of Africans in Boston, many of them come from the Caribbean. And so they have rivalries based on what island they come from in the Caribbean, right? So the Bahamians might not be getting down with the Jamaicans, who might not be getting down with those folks from the Virgin Islands, who might not be getting down with those folks from Bermuda or from Barbados, right? And so there is that. And then you have the descendants of enslaved American Africans who are also there in Boston. So when you look at it, then you have it really, and we want to be very, very general, but I think we need to be very specific when it comes to ethnicity, that these are distinct ethnic groups. If you go to what we call Africa, and I know that's a given name, but you go to Africa, and we talk about it when John and I talk about, we talk about Bantu people, right? Well, the Bantus have at least 620 different languages. Those are 620 distinct ethnic groups. For us who came to America to be enslaved. Obviously, we were cut off from our indigenous roots, so we can't tell you what village that we come from. We can't even tell you unless we actually go back and do a whole genealogical thing and go back to say, did I come from Ghana? Did I come from Senegal? Did my people come? But even if you came from those countries, they're all very distinct ethnic people, right? They practice, for example, different religions. If you go to Nigeria right now, the issue with Nigeria and there's civil unrest is that to the north, it is Muslim, to the south is Christian and animist, right? And they're lining up based on their tribes, based on their religion. And these are people then fighting for power. It was interesting, Michelle said on her program why it's almost a consternation that people have. Well, why would all these people support Donald Trump? And we're talking about people who should know better, right? College educated, highly intelligent people. Because it's not really about that. It's really about who's going to be in power. And I can look the other way when it comes to certain behavior if it's going to push my agenda to get power. I look the other way. And you know what? People do it every day. They do it every day. People find themselves in relationships, right, that they have no business being in, and they'll look the other way and ignore the negative behavior. And what happens with that negative behavior is that it's only just going to get worse. And next thing you know, you're in one of these situations like, how did I get here? I think it's the same thing. The other thing is that there are certain polling going on right now that puts Donald Trump at 50%. Donald Trump has not ever been at 50%. Now, again, I don't know if that poll is an outlier. We have to go in and look and compare it to other polls and polls and polls. So when you hear people say that this is a razor-thin election, it really is. But how did Donald Trump gain 4 points? What is happening that people who
normally have good sense?
Yeah, I mean, and here's the other thing. Donald Trump's greatest support doesn't come from college-educated white folks. Donald Trump's support comes from high school educated white folks.
Yep,
okay.
Backwoods.
Low information voters. Okay. I mean, so when Donald Trump gets up and he does his little shtick, and you know, if he's sitting up and he's dropping names, there's a whole lot of folks who are really down with that. For them, that's politics. He's a fighter. Okay. The problem with him being a fighter is that when it comes to actual governance, he's incompetent. I didn't call him an idiot, just incompetent. You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a quick break. The phone line's open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. I think that's the number. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. Excuse me, and the phone lines are open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Does the Hip Hop Awards matter anymore?
BT.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't watched.
You watched it?
Nah, see, I haven't watched them in a while.
Man, I'll be honest with you. Every year, it seems like there are more and more people I don't know about. Or like, who's that? You know, who?
Oh, he's only the hottest guy out there right now.
Yeah, I mean, you know, and they'd be like, and I'm gonna tell you somebody, Carby, that was real interesting. I didn't have no clue to who this dude was back in the day.
Yeah.
J. Cole. I didn't know who he was. I'm at the 20th anniversary of the Million Man March. We're up in the staging area where, you know, the VIPs come in, and all of a sudden you hear this people going nuts, like J. Cole, J. Cole. Like, who is J. Cole? I didn't know who J. Cole was until DJ had to tell me who he was.
See, I thought him and Kendrick Lamar was the same person.
You thought him and Kendrick Lamar were the same person?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I don't know how I'm feeling about Kendrick Lamar doing the halftime show at the Super Bowl based on what I've heard. I mean, this dude's run a Pulitzer Prize. So what I've heard, I think every rapper would tell you their rap is serious, right?
Yeah.
But this dude he's serious, man. And I don't know how that works at something like the Super Bowl. And I also think that it's going to be a very interesting contrast because, quite frankly, the NFL's fan base is probably dudes who don't listen to Kendrick Lamar. I'm going to go out on a limb on that one.
Or J. Cole. You talking about
Or J. Cole.
Yeah.
But Kendrick Lamar is doing the Super Bowl halftime show.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you that the average guy that's an NFL fan tends to be a white male between certain ages. I don't know how many of them are down with Kendrick Lamar. But I think it's the NFL trying to give this whole social equity, social inclusion piece that's out there. Wow, you know, justice really starts with how you treat your players. And, you know, the NFL has the weakest player association, player union. And a lot of that is because with football, unlike other sports, chances are you're going to get injured. And that injury is going to impact on your ability to be able to perform, even coming back from injuries, you know. So, but I guess I'll be watching commercials.
I said, to your point, the reason why you might not know of the new artists is because, like you said, it's a lot of things are social based now. So
right.
If it's not, you know, if you're not in the social wave, then, you know.
And you know, have to make the adjustment, you know, accept that we're in the 21st century. Yeah. I bumped into Bria, and we were talking. Ooh. Bria Grant. I was talking to Bria, and she was just asking me how things going on. They're going good. She said, I said, it's interesting now, though. I find myself on Facebook and YouTube, and I was so adamant about not wanting to go on Facebook and YouTube. I was really adamant to the point that she and I would get into arguments about her streaming Facebook because I was like, this is a radio program. But the 21st century reality is that it's both audio and visual.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we are. Used to hear people talk about, we used to be more abstract. What did that mean? So we used to hear music in the car. This was, if you're in the 60s, 70s, early 80s, it was the music that you heard your car radio or you heard at the club, right? That's how you got the music. Then MTV hit and music videos. And so then people became more visual.
What was
like
that one that the black one? HBO. Donnie Simpson.
Donnie Simpson. Yeah, Donnie with those eyes. Donnie Simpson had the great voice from Detroit.
What was the name of that? BT. What was that?
What was it? Video Soul?
Video, yeah, something like that.
What was that? Video Soul? and then MTV Rap. So it became actually, and we're doing 40 years Thriller. When Michael, and they were running videos, but then after that, so it wouldn't be so much what you heard is what you saw. You saw the video, you go buy the music. And so we've evolved now.
Videos became bigger than the records.
Oh yeah. People want, and then that's where people would actually go in and tape them if they could on the VHS.
Well, look at Michael. I mean, that was pretty much a movie.
It was
that video.
Yeah, and they did the making. He made a whole lot of money. The making of Thriller. With I think it was John Landis who ended up. Here we go, man. I guess he's feeling real good today. He calling me on Monday.
He's been in already.
He called me on Monday. So
he double dipping today. You want to talk to this guy?
Yeah, I want to talk to him.
Did his team win?
Yeah, that's why we're getting this call this early.
Oh, jeez.
Good morning. How are you? Good morning. I know what he's gonna do.
You don't want to talk to you, I guess.
Tell him 5-second pause. We have to hang up.
Boy, was that on cue?
So hey, I was just worried about. Shout out to the Seahawks. They wore the Falcons out yesterday. I guess a Seahawk. It's Falcon or Hawk, right? Aren't they the same bird? They kind of the same bird.
Falcon is a hawk.
Falcon is a hawk. Seahawk. Yeah.
I guess Seahawk.
They look good yesterday.
Since he got Hawk in his name, he's probably some kind of hawk.
Yeah, man. And look at those Cowboys, man. They didn't lose yesterday.
So what's your favorite team, Keith?
Huh?
What did they do?
They didn't lose yesterday.
Well, how much did they win by?
They had a bye.
That's
they had a bye. So they didn't lose.
Yeah, well, there was no way for them to
They
lose.
didn't lose yesterday. So
but they'll be back next week. They won't
who
disappoint.
they have next week?
Do they have a game during the week? They got a Thursday
No,
night
they
or
play
anything?
next Sunday. No, who they got? But yeah, so the Cowboys didn't lose yesterday. Only one undefeated team
low,
left.
Man. That was low.
What's that?
They didn't lose yesterday.
They didn't
because they had a bye.
I'm a journalist. I have a journalistic responsibility just to report the facts. And the fact is they did lose yesterday.
That was a fact.
Okay. And so there's only one undefeated team
Who's that?
in the NFL. And it's not the Minnesota Vikings.
No, because they got it.
No, they got moved by the Detroit Lions.
Those guys are serious, man.
Yeah.
Detroit.
Yeah. Yeah, they thought that they was down there. Gibbs. Yeah. Yeah. And they lost their best player. Aiden Hutchinson is gone.
He broke his leg.
He's gone. He might get back for the Super Bowl. Detroit's not going to the Super Bowl, y'all. And maybe outside the state of Michigan, but outside the state of Michigan, everybody kind of knows Detroit. They're good, but they're not going to the Super Bowl.
Is that a prediction?
That is a prediction. And they're one of the oldest NFL franchises, one not even to go to a Super Bowl. Certainly haven't won one. I think it's them.
So they've never been?
They've never been. Cleveland.
You sure Cleveland didn't go in the Jim Brown era?
But that was before the Super Bowl. They won a championship with Jim Brown.
Okay, I was going to say.
Yeah, they won a championship with Jim Brown.
You're using a...
Well, it all started with the
words.
Super Bowl. No, that Super Bowl era is where we don't count anything before the Super Bowl era.
Championship is what I'm saying.
Yeah, they did win a championship.
Okay. I know Jim Brown.
As a matter of fact, when they were the dominant team when they left was the All-American Football League. They were the dominant team, but they've never won a Super Bowl. They've never gone to Super Bowl.
When you get technical about it, the Packers have X amount of Super Bowls, but they have championships also.
Right.
And I think they factor them all into that
right,
number.
when you talk about NFL championships.
Right.
But for most people, and it makes it almost sound like the NFL didn't start into the Super Bowl era.
Right, and that's where you...
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, there was an NFL prior to. It goes back, 1931, and the Packers are not one of the original franchises. The Packers joined the league the second year of existence, but the Chicago Bears are. So they're probably the longest.
That was a standing game that they had anyway when, what was his name? Lambeau?
Curly Lambeau and George Halas.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they got in and they became very good. I mean, in terms of the football team and just how the Packers got their name, There was a meat packing company
Yeah,
that was their
yeah.
sponsor, and that's how they got the name the Packers.
But a lot of the workers came out of there, worked on the weekends, played on the
played,
weekends.
played
didn't
on the weekends.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's still, you had guys who do it, and it's really interesting to think about. Even in the '60s, and let's say prior to the Super Bowl era, many football players had second jobs. That's
Yeah.
why Mr. Davis went and got his master's degree from the University of Chicago, and think he lived in Chicago, right? And he would commute,
Period.
to Green Bay. But you had to do some guys selling cars. They had car dealerships. Now,
Well, Mr. Davis subsequently he bought a beer distributorship.
Mhm.
He did a bunch of different things out in California.
and let people know how difficult it is to get a beer distributorship because of how lucrative they are.
Oh, it's very difficult.
Very
Are you
difficult.
kidding me?
So when a black man gets one,
Yeah.
Now I ain't saying nothing, but there was a little pressure put on Anheuser-Busch to make sure one of Jesse Jackson's relatives got a distributorship.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Did they still have it?
I don't know if they still have it or not, but I don't know if it was with Budweiser or but that you've been in that game, it's
It's rough, man.
when you get it's rough, but if you certain kind of things you have coming your way.
But the bottom line is still numbers, man. You constantly are trying to increase your market share.
Right.
They don't want just a distributor. You got to be out there working the product. It's a lot. That's entailed with it, man. Building the
And people's
warehouse.
taste change.
Mhm. I was talking to somebody the other day, Keith. It's the things we don't think about, but having been in the industry, I mean, it makes a difference where you're positioned on the shelf.
Oh, yeah.
Even that cooler, when you go to open that cooler, you want to be on the handle. You don't want to have to reach past 9 other products
Right.
to get to you.
Or
you want
have
to be
to
on
look
the handle.
down.
Yeah, so I pay more, or either I know instances where the wholesaler, the distributor gives you that cooler because
Mhm.
they want their product in it, convenient for their customer base. It's all kind of little games that we don't even think about.
Well,
as
it's product
consumers.
placement. They always talk
Exactly,
about that, and in
exactly.
terms of where you are. You even see it in the on your ballots
Mhm.
because they use lots in Wisconsin to determine. So if you're the first name on the ballot and people don't know who you are, guess who most people gonna vote for? First name on the ballot. They're not even gonna keep reading. So that's interesting because you talk about that. Here's something they do in the store, grocery stores. Certain things they know are attracted to kids, they put it at kid level
Of course.
because the kids will just grab them. How many parents have had to say, "I didn't get that. We're not getting that." Now,
Then
the
when
modern
people
parents are very
fall out-
nice about it.
Yeah.
I wish I would have dropped something
Over in your mama's
in my
basket.
mama's basket. Mama, I got these Fruit Loops. You better put those Fruit Loops back before I beat you blankety blank blank.
No, it's always Fruit Loop your behind, or
Say that again.
they try to twist the word into saying your behind in there too. So like if you
Oh,
was
she didn't say behind.
Oh yeah. She said
There was no twisting of
There
words.
was no twisting of words. There was no need for interpretation. Can I get the translator over here? What did she just say?
She said,
I'm a translator.
I Fruit Loop your ass. I got your Fruit Loop.
Use Fruit Loop in a threat.
Got your translator.
Carla, welcome to the program. Good morning.
Hey, Keith, it's me, Johnny.
Hey, Johnny. What's happening, man?
It's like I'm a session guitar player. Hey, you know
He said
a guitar player, and you're like, here's John.
What did he say?
So
He said he's a session
This is
guitar
John.
player.
Oh, you're a session
yeah,
guitar
it's
player.
like I'm a session guitar player. And you say, hey, our guitar player didn't show up. You got a guitar player handy?
Oh, did you ever
You know
work
what I
with
mean?
Chuck Berry?
Well, I used to play a
Chuck Berry that traveled with a band. Chuck Berry get the town. He said, "You send me a band, And then he'll play with the band. He don't care what key they're in. Chuck Berry getting his money and he's gone. He was.
I can stay on the key. That much I can do.
Right. So, you talk about a session musician, man. It was, but Chuck Berry, man, he didn't really care. He never traveled with a band. It'd just be him.
Yeah, he's the star. Everything has to fit in with him. But I appreciate what you said about the language. And it's really interesting. I'm glad you said 600. I didn't know you meant 600 only in certain areas.
No, I just what they consider Bantu languages. There's people outside of Bantu.
That's right.
Right. People in Eastern Africa are not considered Bantu people. Right. So they have their own tongues. People in Southern Africa is part of the Bantu suite. There are people who came up who made that way, but they have their own languages. Even in South Africa, the different languages that they have, among those different ethnic groups. So, I mean, you see it in Europe, you see it in Asia. That these are we use this race as this catch-all for everything, and I think a more precise thing is ethnicity, because even among groups now, for us being descendants of enslaved Africans in what is the United States of America, a lot of our language is just like the other ethnic groups who've come here, whether they're Italian or, where we're speaking English, but then we insert certain colloquialisms into our own dialect, which is really amazing. I don't understand how, and this is really before we talk about video, how I could, I had classmates from Washington, D.C., I had classmates from Ohio, I've had classmates from different parts of the country and the world. But if you're a descendant of enslaved African, there's certain things that can come up everybody can identify with. Here's one. I'm going to get on you like white on rice.
Yeah.
Now, I had friends from D.C., their mama made that threat. My mama made that threat. So because there's certain things, I'm sure even in Judaism, among Jewish people, there are certain things is obviously colloquial. That is something that people within the ethnicity clearly understands. Most people can understand and identify with, just because of the cultural existence of it. Right. Culture influences our language. Culture influences our dress. Culture influences our music.
That's for sure. Yeah. There's a group I was going to tell you. Remember, I told you about the Coptic people on the south side? There's a Maronite church up on the northwest side. I looked it up after I was chatting with you that one day, and I can't remember their address. It's somewhere up in Lisbon or something. Okay. If you just look up Maronite, Maronite, and that's those Aramaic-speaking people in Lebanon and stuff. And so it's pretty interesting. I've spoken with them, and I kind of tune in on.
Yeah, that's interesting. I was listening to a Lebanese comedian the other day talking about his dad, and I immediately thought about you because he's a Lebanese Christian. Yeah. And you know who else was a Lebanese Christian? Danny Thomas.
Yeah. Yep. And then there's other ones too, famous ones that blend in, and they're all over the world.
Right. What I'm saying is that. Yeah.
People you wouldn't know.
Yep. Hey, John, let me do this, man. You have to call me back because I'm expecting Senator Tammy Baldwin to call us. So after the interview, feel free to call back.
Okay. Have fun.
Yeah. Thanks. Yeah. There were certain things, though, we could all, like I said, my buddies from D.C., my buddies from Baltimore or from New York or from Newark or from Philly, there's certain things that you could bring up and we could all go like, yeah. And then you think about the people who come out of Mississippi, or the people who come out of Alabama, and everybody got their own little sayings. Carvey, did your mom ever threaten you? Said, I'm gonna get on you like white on rice?
Plenty of times.
Did she ever get on you like white on rice?
Plenty of times.
You do have the senator.
As we shift gears, we have the great honor to be joined on these airwaves by U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin. Good morning, Senator Baldwin. How are you?
I'm well. It's so great to join you.
Good. And very, 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 very nice video that you sent to the NAACP Friday evening. No, you couldn't be there. You had some other kind of a little bit more, I would say more important, but some other things that you had to do on Friday evening. But thank you. And they point out that the first time I think I was at a Freedom Fund dinner, and you get up, but they would always introduce you and they would say, and she is a life member of the NAACP.
Yes. I sure am. I'm very proud of that.
So how are you?
I'm doing well. Yes, as you mentioned, I had a debate that night and was not able to be there. But what a milestone! 100 years of the Milwaukee branch of the NAACP.
Yes.
But I'm in the home stretch of this campaign. Everyone knows now. November 5th. An early vote starts tomorrow. I encourage people to make a plan to vote. But I'm excited because in these remaining days, I'm going to be having the opportunity to crisscross the entire state of Wisconsin and meet voters where they're at and hear what's top of mind for folks. And it's the home stretch.
What do you think? Now again, you're in the home stretch, and obviously you all are looking at data every day, and then your own anecdotal experiences. How did this race change from policy to personal?
Yeah, well, I still am trying to focus a lot on policy. It's really important that we talk about not only what we will do, but what we have done to fight for Wisconsinites. And so I plan on, remaining on that focus. But, as I said at the debate, I'd appreciate Era Tubby staying out of my personal life. And I know that most women in Wisconsin would appreciate Era Tubby staying out of their personal lives. Which brings, to focus that a lot of the ballot has to do with our rights and freedoms and restoration of those rights and freedoms, whether those are with regard to voting or with regard to health care and reproductive care. And it's really also important to remind folks that, if you have an opportunity at a good paying job and you have access to affordable health care, you have a pathway. But so many people don't have all of those opportunities, and we need to make sure everyone does.
One of the things, and as part of my job, I have to sit through them, and I'm going to tell you, sometimes you feel like you need a shower after you watch some of these political commercials. Inaccuracies, but there's one that kind of stood out for me. In my understanding, the first stimulus check went to every American. Am I correct?
That is my yes.
And the only exception, I only found this out, just because of my life experience, with people who owe child support. So it didn't really. So when you hear that, well, people in prison receive stimulus checks, that's because every American received a stimulus check. Am I correct?
Yes.
And I think that little thing that people kind of pick out and they go and they say this, and this, and it's not really this, and this is pretty much this, that in effect. And so just things like that. How do you combat where
and then there's another aspect that was the child tax credit.
Yes.
Went to parents of children. And sometimes you have U.S. citizen children who have maybe one parent who's a U.S. citizen and the other isn't. That happens. Right. And so, they were clouding. I saw some attack ads that were clouding those sort of issues also. But it is a gross mischaracterization of what was happening during a very, very urgent time during the height of the pandemic, where a lot of people lost their jobs. A lot of people were in very dire straits.
What is, as you said, what is the way forward if you're reelected? What is the way forward?
I want to continue my focus on, I call them the W's, wellness, work, water, and I added, after the Dobbs decision, women's rights, because of the impact of half of America losing rights and freedoms. But on wellness, I want to continue my efforts to make healthcare available and affordable to all, accessible to all. That includes fighting healthcare disparities that exist with many communities of color, and particularly health disparities that are affecting Black moms. I also know that we need to expand the healthcare workforce in mental health and nursing and other professions. And those are great job opportunities. And we need to provide incentives for more people to go into those professions. In work, I'm going to continue my work on modernizing our apprenticeship laws. I think it's such a great opportunity for folks to get a great paying job through an apprenticeship where you're earning while you're learning and becoming the master of your craft. I also am trying to make community and college tuition free, so technical and community college, and then make sure that we continue pathways for a higher education, should that be what somebody chooses. But the biggest impact I've had on bringing good paying jobs back to Wisconsin has been with my Buy America rules. The idea that if you are using tax dollar, if we're spending tax dollars, those should be staying in the U.S., supporting U.S. workers, the U.S. Jobs. And we're seeing jobs come back to Wisconsin because of my Buy America rules. This created 200 new jobs in Kenosha to build components that are going to be used in the broadband build out that was funded in the infrastructure law. We're seeing jobs at Ingeteam and other places doing our, working on wind energy and EV chargers, and Buy America policies really work. And I've been the champion in the Senate of those. So among the things on my agenda moving forward.
When we talk about, there's great fear out there, and I'm sure we had the same fear when the combustible engine came and it became to replace horses as our primary mode of travel. At some point, we are going to be looking more and more at electric vehicles. I mean, our not our ecology, but our what do I want to say? The atmosphere, our climate,
environment,
is impacted. How do we assuage the fear of people who would normally work in what we call traditional auto industry and all the ancillary businesses when we begin to talk about we're moving more and more towards alternative forms of energy, but also alternative forms of transportation?
Yeah. So when I see these pivots, and it's not going to happen really quickly, it's going to happen over time, I see new job opportunities. I was just saying about my Buy America rules. We want to be building the components for a cleaner energy economy here in the U.S. So I see more jobs coming, whether it's, so say we're pivoting to more solar. Right now, most of those solar panels are made overseas. Let's start making them in Wisconsin. And then the installation jobs are also great paying jobs in the trades, usually union jobs. And so I see a lot of opportunity for job growth. But change is difficult, and I don't see the pivot happening overnight. So we're going to be adding jobs, and maybe there will be some that used to be around that won't be here anymore. But hopefully there'll be many new ones to keep people employed.
When you think about, and I want to use the word, what's at stake? I've heard democracy is on the ballot. We talked about these existential elections. Every election cycle is an existential election, right? But what's at stake in this election?
Yeah, so I would say with regard to our democracy, and you just mentioned it, lots of people are saying it is our very democracy. Look, I was in the Capitol on January 6th when rioters tried to overturn the results of the voters. They tried to overturn an election. They tried to present, in our state, fake electors to go and install Trump, even though he didn't win Wisconsin or the election. And I hear fighting words like that a lot during this election cycle. It is very disturbing to many, and I think we need to build the trust that our elections are fair, our elections are well run, and get beyond this idea, this notion that someone can just come in and behave as though they were a dictator.
Yeah, are you fearful? You lived through January 6th. Right now, with the polling being as close as it is, are you concerned that if one particular party does not win the presidential election, that they're not going to accept it, and that could lead to all kind of civil unrest?
I think we all have to observe and be vigilant at this election. Our election officials, believe it or not, were getting training on what to do if there's violence at the during the election. They are getting training from the U.S. Department of Homeland Security. This is very disquieting that we're at this point, fueled by rhetoric from Donald Trump and his supporters. We need to have a fair election. We need to abide by the results, and we need to make sure that our democracy is safe and secure for generations to come. This cannot be the generation where it goes by the wayside.
Wow. U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, anything you want to share with us as we end this conversation?
I urge everybody to make their plan to vote. I ask for your listeners' support. I ask for your support. And our voices must be heard. Our votes must be counted.
U.S. Senator Tammy Baldwin, we thank you for taking a few moments with us.
Thank you.
All right, and good luck on for the rest of for the duration of this election cycle. Are we going to take a break? You're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. I isn't there something out there when a song is like, I know when I was coming up it was a jam, but they call them bangers? Yeah. Headbangers, and that's a headbanger right there. That's a headbanger.
When that beat dropped, that's all you can do.
And that really started with rock guys,
Keith,
right?
You do realize you're on camera, right?
I do. Right. No. But
You too. I just got you doing it too.
oh yeah, man, because that's a banger, man.
Carby, we got to talk, man.
Carby asked an interesting question though, and listeners, he talked about people playing a sport where there's a high chance of injury, and you're saying low probabilities based on the team you're on the winning, right?
Yeah.
Why would people get out and do that? Why would you get out? Now, look, I played on some losing football teams, and I showed up for practice every day. I showed up for the game every Saturday. So is there something there more than winning, like the competition? I mean, what do you think it is?
Well, it's a camaraderie, man. I mean, plus, if you just be real, the athletes got the girls.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I was just finna say they just want what come with it, man. Some people just want what come with it.
Wait a minute, hold on.
The athletes got the girls.
Mr. Cotter. Mr. Cotter.
Yes, sir.
So you telling me that high school athletes got girls?
Oh yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
I was a high school athlete.
No, they don't count water boy, Keith.
Well, let me tell you something.
Bobby Boudreaux.
Don't count the water boy, man. Jeez.
So just so I'm clear.
Yeah, you're clear. You're very clear.
So if you're a high school athlete,
yeah,
you got the girls?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
What happened?
Don't mess around and be a letterman.
I was a letterman.
And you still didn't?
I lettered in 2 sports.
And you still didn't get no girls?
No. What's up with that?
Probably scared of your mother.
No.
They never met your mom?
Never met my mother. Nope.
The basketball players get more girls though.
No, it's seasonal.
I was basketball player.
Yeah.
It's seasonal. And the reason I said it because some of those same basketball players play for the football.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
it's
Which was interesting because the football players, it took them 2 weeks to get into basketball shape. They were in football shape, right?
Mm-hmm.
Different type of muscle usage. So it took them about a week, 2 weeks, depending on what they did, in order just to be able to, to make that adjustment. So what about entertainers?
Oh, please. I've lived. I've traveled each and every mile. The moment.
If I didn't care for you. No, that is true, man. There were some dudes who, where are they today? But they had a little band. I can't even. There's some dudes I grew up with. We singing in choirs, and the girls thought that they were just so fine.
Oh yeah,
I wasn't one of those dudes.
I'm
scarred, Carvey. I'm scarred, man.
Some great times in the choir, man.
Oh my God. So you know what I had to do?
What?
Start preaching. What?
Learn the songs. Might as well learn how to sing because I ain't getting the girl. I actually joined the choir because I had this crush on this girl. Nothing happened. Except I learned some new songs.
Terrible, I feel so bad for you. Every time you tell a story, it just never ends up right.
I will write a book, A Troubled Life.
It's terrible, man.
Wow. I can give you some names and some of these dudes, and they be like, "Oh, he's so cute. Oh, he's so fine, Keith." There you go. There you go. Oh man.
Next.
Oh man. Okay, they blowing it up now.
So what do you think about Keith?
Next.
I ain't saying she's a gold digger.
Yeah, man.
But she ain't messing with no broke.
So were you broke, Keith?
I don't know, man. I don't know. I thought, wow. You know, I came across, I thought
Well, you always holler about we was so poor.
that
You don't say poor, you say y'all was poor.
We were poor. We weren't poor. There were some people who was really poor. We were poor. I mean, my mom was lower. You know, she had a government job. So we, so yeah, of course I made it sound so much worse than it actually was.
Right.
And
we all had sugar sandwiches. Did you eat the sugar sandwich?
Mayonnaise sandwiches.
What mayonnaise? You never tried the sugar sandwich?
It was sweet. I'm not a sweets guy.
Even then, you didn't like sweets?
I didn't. No, even as a kid. You know what got me off of sweets? I was 10 years old. I was at OWH, and one day I decided to go and buy.
Is that Oliver Wendell Holmes?
Oliver Wendell Holmes School.
Okay. OWH.
OWH. Bradley Carr was my teacher. And so there used to be a store right on Monarchy. It looked like it was kind of built into the hill a little bit. There's a little between Richards and what's Richards going? Palmer? Yeah,
Palmer.
Right. And there was a little store. So one day I went and bought $1 worth of penny candy. Mm-hmm. And that's when penny candy was penny candy.
Yeah, so you got 100 pieces.
And I ate half the bag. And after that, I didn't want sweets again. Nope.
How many pieces did he get for $1, Carvey?
Penny candy.
It's 100, man. Come on.
I was just checking, man.
Go ahead.
He was with us, man. Trying to see if he was with us. He's paying attention.
Carvey's like, come on, man. This ain't algebra. 414-444-5250. 414-444-5250. Oh my God. No, they did not.
What happened, man?
CBS breaks its silence over editing allegations in the 60 Minutes interview with Harris. So, what kind of editing? They always edit, though.
Yeah, you don't just put raw footage out. What did they edit, though?
Yeah, they dismissed it as false. This dude, though.
So, what were you about to say?
No, go.
I was just wondering what you thought of the Arnold Palmer.
You know, by the time I picked up on that speech, I think he was still talking about Arnold Palmer.
Uh-huh.
And at first I thought he was at the rally because he was talking like he was there. Didn't realize he died, right? He calls it weaving. That's what Trump calls his old age disassociation. He calls it weaving. You know, weaving. That's what he does. And what it really is because he has no filters, whatever comes to mind, he's likely to say it. The fact that he has gone up in the polls, like it's right now, I think one poll has him at 50-50. There's something resonating there. I hope to have this conversation on Wednesday with Dr. Leah Knox and Dr. Kwaku Amasi on this whole issue of, well, here's the question. How is the dynamics of relationships between black men and black women, how much of that is coloring how Kamala Harris is viewed, particularly by black men?
See, for me, I mean, you know, as I spoke to it on my show on Saturday,
Kamala Harris?
In general.
Oh, in general. I thought you said you spoke to her. You spoke to it.
No, spoke to that very issue. I just kind of look at it kind of similar to the way Obama worded it, you know. When I think back, and as I asked my listeners to do on Saturday, just imagine your life without all of the powerful women that impacted your life, be it your mother, your grandmother, your sister, but just the women. Now, don't look at the men, but just look at the women in your life. and where would you be if they were not there?
Happier?
No,
You wouldn't be happier.
no, that's a powerful.
Probably be totally dysfunctional.
Yeah,
But are we deceiving? No, I'm not saying.
My point was not to make light of, Keith, is to say that women have been the backbone and what and the support base, if you will, for all that is men anyway.
But there is a certain hostility that some men have, in spite of what you just described. They have issues.
So they don't love their mother or their grandmother.
No, or maybe we see black women coming up.
Because a white man that ascended or has reached the levels that she has would not get half the scrutiny that she does. But,
right,
but that's a white man.
But we didn't even
have
react.
A black woman.
But did we respond to Obama?
Oh, you
that
had
way?
those haters out there, man.
Oh yeah,
You had the haters out there.
But what I'm saying is, but overall, it wasn't a discussion about how Obama wasn't up to it. Women and others, we will start questioning their qualifications, even though they're more qualified than men. There is no way when you compare.
She has more qualifications than anybody that's been in the White House in the last 10 years.
I agree with that. But when you're a woman, it doesn't seem to matter for men. And maybe that some men, and look, and I said this, I don't know who I was talking to, and I was saying that this is an issue that surprisingly a lot of black men and a lot of white men, they share it, right? Even though we got our own hostilities and all those things.
But that's male chauvinist stuff, man.
Or male insecurity?
Yeah, but what if she can do the job, what's wrong with giving her that opportunity? What's wrong with it? I mean, she's the most qualified. When I look at my choices, this buffoon, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
He's just sitting up there talking about how well Arnold Palmer was hung. Who cares? Is that something that you need to be discussing?
You think Arnold came along too soon? You think he could have been doing porn?
Along with Trump's wife, yeah. They should have been in the scene together. Hey, come on, man.
And let me say this, because somebody brought up Vanessa Williams.
Yeah, that was a caller this morning. Said Vanessa should get her. That was George.
Okay,
George that said she.
You know, I don't personally don't have a problem if a woman decides that she wants to take nude pictures. In my mind, that's art. No, I'm serious.
Yeah,
I mean, that's art.
But then there's no way she should be sleeping in the White House either.
that's art.
Why not?
Because she shouldn't.
Okay. All right. I'm sorry. All right.
Fix your face, man. Get yourself back together.
T-Bone said she shouldn't. Damn it.
And I'm gifted and talented.
I said so one time to me and Keon was going at it, and Keon go, so why you think you could say that? I said, because it's my program. He go, so? So?
Yeah,
So? Caller, welcome to the program.
We still number one in division.
Oh, he's back. He's back.
Hey, I called.
Not happened in 3 weeks.
Hey, I called you last time, but y'all hung up on me.
Nobody hung up.
Nobody hung up on you, man.
Oh, Debo, hush. We ain't want to hear about your little word.
You just made sure we saw the name and then you hung up.
Hey.
Oh, but
You just called a few minutes ago.
Oh, but you feeling pretty good today, though, huh?
Sometimes I can never get through. Debo be looking at that phone. He be like, Phoenix, I don't know about my
always let
call
you through.
today.
No, you always get through.
When Keith said, he said, Arizona.
Here it comes. Here we come.
You said, Debo, let's take this call.
Yeah.
Right,
Oh, yeah.
right. Oh, got to do this one. So what's happening, man?
Man, let me say something. I got a couple of things I got to get off my chest.
All right.
Okay. Your Packers looked good in the white uniforms.
I hate those uniforms.
Man, I hate them too, man.
They look like Klan uniforms. That's what they look like, man.
Hey, they too damn white.
Too white. Too damn white. You're right, man. It's too white, man. I agree with that. I hate those uniforms.
Yeah, but they had the audience, the fans were in white
White
also.
but a lot of them had the jerseys.
Yeah.
Yeah, but listen, it's too white to be playing on green grass, not turf.
Oh, they call it Whiteout Sunday or something. They
Red
call it.
whiteout, yeah. Oh, I tell you who really does whiteout, Penn State. When they do the whiteout,
man,
everything is white in that stadium.
The helmet, everything.
Everything is white.
Everything.
Right. Well, I agree with you, man. In terms of that, I like them to do the throwback. You know, that's my favorite Packer uniform, the throwback, and then I like the '60s Packer uniforms. Those were nice.
You know what I don't like? I don't like that. What's that? I think it's that. What is it? That blue and yellow or something?
Oh, that's my favorite one. I got that one.
Man, the things is hideous.
Oh man, dude, that's the Acme Packing Company. They got. I had the T-shirt.
They ugly. I don't care what they ugly, dude.
Okay, all right.
Why you worried about
Hey,
what
let me ask you a question in terms of, and I don't know how much you know about aviary. Is it aviary? Aviary about birds. A Seahawk is a hawk, right? And a falcon is a hawk, right?
Yes.
Okay. So they had the battle of the hawks yesterday.
Oh yeah. But you forgot we won though.
Oh, I didn't forget.
I
didn't forget.
He doesn't get to say that often, so he
you
want to tout that whenever
You're gonna be
possible.
sore in the morning. Those muscles.
Yeah. He doesn't get to say it often.
Listen, Debo. I woke up with my jersey iron like I was gonna go to first day of school.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question. You down in Phoenix, when the Cardinals win, do you see Cardinals like jerseys, T-shirts? Like
no. Let me tell you. Like I told you last time, if Green Bay come play in Arizona,
right,
that will be Green Bay Stadium for that day.
That's every place they go.
No.
Oh no.
Okay.
Because my wife is from Miami. We went to the Christmas Day game, and half the stand was green and gold. That was in Miami on Christmas Day.
Miami garbage. Ain't nobody going to Miami games.
Sound like me.
So is the Cardinals. If you just want to say garbage, I mean, come on, man. Let's be fair.
No, but I'm just saying though, if the Raiders come here, it's the Raiders Stadium that day. I'm just saying, if Pittsburgh come that game, it's the Pittsburghs that day.
Okay.
I mean, it's Cardinals fans, but it's just they run that stadium because there's so many people migrate. They didn't migrate. They didn't move to that state. They didn't move here, and they took over like when Seahawks play. We take over the stadium. It's just how it goes.
They travel well, but I think obviously the Packers travel well, especially when you go into warm weather venues. You know, like when they playing in LA, they playing in Arizona, Miami. I think they're gonna have a nice because they play in Jacksonville Sunday. And I bet you it's gonna be. They had a nice turnout when they went down and played in Nashville. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about going to the game in Nashville when they played the Titans.
Matter of fact, when I was watching the London game, it was a lot of Jacksonville fans in London.
Yeah.
When I watched that, it was a lot of Jacksonville fans. I said, "Man, Jacksonville, they traveling to London?"
Yeah, I think. Well, it's a benefit. It's like the adding UCLA, USC, Oregon, Washington. I know those four that they added to the Big Ten. Well, if I'm at UW-Madison and I really want to raise some money from my alumni, I put together a nice little package where we're going out because we're playing USC at the Coliseum, right? And people are going to sign up for it. And man, don't let it be a game in Vegas. Oh man, Vegas has been up and coming, but they really been up and coming because they got the A's now, so Las Vegas A's. That's why they blew that hotel up, so they can build that stadium the Mirage,
right there.
Right? They brought the Mirage now.
Well,
it's interesting because now
the Mirage or the Tropicana.
I think both.
The Tropicana.
But Mirage came down too, right?
No, it was Tropicana. It was
right there on.
It was a Tropicana.
Las Vegas
but I thought Mirage
it was
was
a
coming down
Tropicana
too.
And matter of fact, in Vegas, and they doing another NASCAR racing again this year because they did it last year too. And it was worth a whole lot of money to watch it. I think it was like $2,500 just to watch it.
What, the Grand Prix?
Well, Vegas,
the Grand Prix.
Vegas is the kind of town that needs professional athletic sports in there.
Well, I think that once the league started allowing
because they were betting on it.
Right.
Yeah,
once they started allowing then Vegas, because before that you could even get a game. The only thing they had going in Vegas was UNLV back in the day.
Was it.
Right.
But then once they first started was off track betting, And now when you look at betting, man, people are betting on plays. That's just how particular it is.
They betting on the coin toss.
Man, do y'all know they betting on the election?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, what they is, huh?
Oh yeah. People do it all the time, and they do. Yeah, the Mirage is closing. That's what I thought. I thought somebody else was
betting on that.
No, the Mirage is closing. It's closed, and there's going to be a new hotel they're building there called Rio.
Did you see the
Rio there? Rio redoing that?
Yeah, sorry, yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what they're saying.
Did you see the? Because you know they're making that
buffet. That's what
what's the hotel they got down in I think it's L.A. No, it might be Florida. The one would look like shaped like a guitar.
Oh, Hard Rock Cafes.
That they making that in Vegas too.
They got that all over the country.
Hard Rock there, but they may be redoing it.
And then because it was the Seminole Nation that brought the Hard Rock Hotel to Broward County in Florida, and now I think the stadium is Hard Rock. Have you ever been in one of Hard Rock cafes?
In Vegas, yeah.
Food is all right.
And before I go, make sure, tell everybody who work at McDonald's, make sure they put the gloves on. Don't do what Donald Trump did. Serve the fries without his damn gloves on while he's trying to do a damn photo op. He ain't got no gloves on.
I used to say this about customer service. I said that there were some people who are on the counter who should be on fries.
Yeah, but it's some people who need to be on fries, need to be on counter.
And I think he eats a lot. He eats a lot of McDonald's.
He eat a lot, man. Shoot.
No, but he eats a lot of McDonald's.
Hair grow, though. All right now, brother.
I appreciate you, man.
Did he say something about his hair growing?
I thought he said something about egg rolls.
No, he said something to make his hair grow. I don't know.
All right, you're listening to Community Voice. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back to Community Voice. Again, our phone line's open 414-444-5250, 414-444-5250. Let me circle back to the NAACP Freedom Fund dinner. We had this year, the keynote speaker was Hakeem Jeffries. His brother was the keynote speaker last year. And when we're here with President Nicholas and others from the NAACP, we point out that the NAACP is a nonpartisan group. What does that mean? That they don't endorse any of the political parties, but they're still a political organization. Hakeem Jeffries came in because I guess he's doing it for free, and he laid out a pretty partisan, to the point that someone texted me, said that they spoke. They said that he said that I got him. I thought I was partisan, but damn. But it was good. It was to the point, and we understand that there's a lot at stake, and I think that's why it seems so overwhelming to me. Once we get past all these superficial kind of things that people are reacting and responding, we're reacting to, not responding so much. One of the other things I think, we talk about it, and again, remember I said that this is something that there's a certain level of disaffectedness with Black men, and there's a certain level of disaffectedness with white men. And I think that part of that is when society, Black men, we have our own reasons why we're disaffected. White men, probably just because of changing economy. The changing economy. We had the good folks on talking about with Nadia, and who was her guy? Mr. Juarez, Benjamin. And they were on talking about AI. There's a lot of fear out there because, again, I used the term, which is 20th century mechanization. But anytime we go in and we advance in technology, that means that the manual labor jobs will go, they're going to, like how we build cars are going to change. Really, if you look at how you build an electric car, they're less pieces, right? Easy to assemble. So because there are less pieces, and the way that the prefab pieces that people have is that then that eliminates a job, right? And then if you're, again, high school educated, chances are that that's going to be jobs that, you're more than qualified to do, and they're available and they pay well. If you're in a situation where you have a manufacturing job, usually those jobs pay very, very, very well. And so you didn't have to have a degree, right? And still have a middle class lifestyle, middle class income for those men, particularly who came from the South to work in the North. Black men, they came from a subsistent, barely getting by existence to being able to come here. If you got a job at Hunter Schrager or A.O. Smith, you were solidly now in solid middle class. That's why back in the 60s, Milwaukee, in terms of percentage, had like the most prosperous middle class in the country. Small population, but those people here working. When those jobs go and you don't pivot, where you go in and say, I'm going to be retrained, I'm going to do something else, what will happen is that for a lot of people, and then the way the economy now is going, it is more based for people who are for women. Here's the other thing. There are more women in college than men now. And that includes white women, right? Black women. So I think that there's a certain hostility because for some Black men, it appears that the Black woman is ascending and they're not ascending. And why is that? Right? And so there's probably a lot. And again, so talking to Leah and Kwaku, we can kind of go in and really talk. Because, whether we want to admit it or not, look, there's always, when they said the battle of the sexes, there's been conflict between men and women since there have been men and women. And then when you just layer on top of that certain cultural influences, environmental influences, you will find that, that hostility is real. And for us to act as if it doesn't exist or to minimize where a person is feeling or why they're feeling the way that they're feeling. Great. If you the dude that brings the bacon home and your old lady don't have to work because y'all just that good. But for many Black couples, that is not a reality. The reality is that both have to work in order just to get to a point where you need to do what you need to do for your kids or begin to build your future. And when you look at men losing jobs, because in the area, for example, if you look in places like West Virginia, parts of Ohio, parts of Pennsylvania, where the coal mining, well, we're becoming less and less dependent on coal for good reason. We shouldn't be burning coal. What burning coal does to our environment, is catastrophic in a lot of ways. This is probably one of the biggest contributors to our climate change is these coal burning plants. You see it more in China and in India because these coal burning plants, we're putting all these carcinogens into the air. And so, no, and in spite of what Donald Trump says, there's no such thing as clean coal. Coal is not clean just by its very nature. So, we're going to go in and get clean coal. Where are you going to find that? That don't even sound right. Clean coal? Caller, welcome to the program.
Shalom, family.
What's happening, man?
Hey, so this reality that you were just discussing related to Black women ascending more rapidly, let's say, than Black men, and that creating a insecurity. It's not new, goes back to the plantation. When we think about who is the greatest threat to the white man's insecurity, the Black family, but of course that Black man to be considered comparable to him, that's been a problem since we've been here.
Now, when you talk about what white man, are you talking about the white man that's in power or those powerless white men who are being victimized by the same economic system? And the only thing that they're hearing is, well, at least you're not a nigger, but you're still hungry, right? You're still dealing with the economic downturn. It impacts you very differently than it might impact your wife, right? Or your girl.
But I'm saying that message hasn't changed since.
But that's what I'm saying. And so we probably have more in common with white men on a certain level just because of how, and we're talking now particularly the economy.
Well, not in their not in their.
Of course, they have a distorted reality, and I think that that's what Trump is able to exploit. Your fear, right. Your insecurities.
So concept I think you're talking about with Dr. Kwaku and Dr. Knox, the cognitive dissonance to tell that lie for 400 years. But
we do it too as Black men. I'm not just putting that on white men. Black men do it too.
No. I'm saying, but you have to realize where it started.
Okay, I got that.
I mean, think about attach the way the media has even changed and would call themselves progressing, but there's a subliminal message in the way they will now allow for a commercial to show a white man and a Black woman,
what?
Prominent. Huh?
I said, what?
What? Yeah, what? I mean, we're not ignorant of our enemy's devices, are we?
Well, but Craig, what I'm saying is that it's insidious on one level, but it's incredibly human on another. And what I mean by that is, yes, there are people who are exploiting that. People, they like what do worms say? Stop messing with my.
So let me ask you then, if you say it's the human factor,
yeah,
and that people would exploit that, where then does the Black man who is supporting Trump tie into that manipulation of the media being used? And I will add this, is we have to recognize that these things are being done not primarily, and I'm going to say this, but primarily because these people are insecure about their population numbers dwindling.
I got that. That's real. Nativism is real.
All of it.
But you said something. And you asked me this. So why would this dude? First of all, how do we even know who this dude is that says he's supporting Trump? And then I want you to think about it for just a moment. Doesn't that get him on TV? You supporting Kamala Harris doesn't get you on TV the same way you coming out as a black man saying you supporting Donald Trump will.
The black and Hispanic and Asian males who will support Trump.
But what I'm saying is that maybe the number is bigger than it is, or maybe the number is not as big as we think it is. But who gets the attention? So all of a sudden you got all these black men. No, that's stupid Darnell, right? I mean but Darnell realizes that's how. What was their name? Diamond and Silk. As ignorant as the day is long. Why is Diamond and Silk considered anyone of any credibility when it comes to black politics? Because they got in. I saw Michelle and I. We were at an event and we saw this woman who was on with Will, and this woman was a lot like Diamond and Silk in terms of the politics. Well, who gets the attention? You getting out.
Well, they looking for the spotlight.
And wait a minute. And then the manipulator will then use that individual. With that joke that they had, was it a scary movie? They always find the most ignorant black person to describe what's going on. And then you got one of the Wayans brothers being ignorant, because that gets you on television. You being intelligent and reasonable and supporting Kamala Harris is not going to get you the same attention you get unless you say, I'm on the fence. Oh, I don't know who I'm going to vote for. Oh, they ain't paying attention to me.
Tim Scott and what's his name, Byron Donald.
Okay.
And those who are in politics, those who really don't need the spotlight for the same reason. You understand what I'm saying? So when you got, I forget the name of this guy Michelle was talking about on her show, this rapper who apparently has come out in support of Trump, saying
somebody, no, Carver, you ever heard of that dude?
What's his name?
I don't know. The dude that was coming out, was he Lord something? No. Okay. So what is he looking at?
And then this T-shirt that they supposedly wearing, Trump or the Tramp. I mean, where does a black man who has lived the same experiences as these black women since the plantation come to a place
but
where
Craig, to think that there are black men who feel that way, Craig.
Huh?
There are black men who feel that way about black women.
And that's my question. Where does in this society that either one of us being able to elevate ourselves, right, and effectively giving us all more of an opportunity to be elevated. If it's a black woman and a black man, if we were to do this correctly, we all elevate. But where's the black man get, insecurity and the insult of seeing a black woman raise up to that point where he will wear a shirt like that?
They're misogynistic black men. There are black men who do not have favorable views of women in general, and particularly black women.
He's the Steven from what's the name of that?
Django? No, I'm telling you, I look. It was something that I heard.
No, that's the same brother who's saying we sick, ain't we, boss?
Okay, but I'm talking about something very different. I'm talking about the dynamic. I remember one of my first programs, I was citing that there were black women who said that I don't need a man for anything. And brothers was blowing up the phone. Oh, no, she don't. No, she don't. She don't need you to survive. Now, if you want to say emotionally where she is, okay, but materially, she doesn't need you to survive.
Yeah, you do, because you cannot have a black child with just a black woman.
What do you mean?
Survival requires them both to be continually reproducing themselves.
Yeah, but I can go to a sperm bank. Now people say that's still a man, but I'm just talking about a presence in your life.
I mean, you got to look at the dysfunction in that, which goes back to the plantation too.
What's that?
The dysfunction of either one saying they don't need the other. You know,
Okay.
Essentially, you're saying we can continue to survive without our mate being, the same as we are. That's impossible.
No, I'm saying that we can reproduce and not have ongoing relationships. You can be a sperm donor. I hate that term.
Essentially raised today, where we got a bunch of youth who don't have no kind of instruction, no kind of link to their past, no kind of understanding of what it takes for us to continue to be a people who, need to survive here. Have contributed to this place.
Look,
have done great things. I mean, when they want to dismiss our history and we buy into it.
Well, I'm not dismissing history. I'm talking about where we are contemporaneously. That in relationships, it was something. No, they're not dudes out there. Some dudes out there. Hey, great example. I'm trying to think. Was it Ike who already had issues of insecurities? But then when Tina blew up, who was the person going after? Ike.
Is that insecurity?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And for a lot, and it happens on a lot of different levels.
Because of the way he was treated by the system.
Okay, so that justifies his misogynism.
We have of a black woman who Beyonce, her and Jay-Z linking up. Is Jay-Z insecure because of what Beyonce is doing?
He don't have to be.
Recognize that together we are that super, that power couple.
It's
and
rare,
together,
but they came on the same plane. They're on an equal plane. There are not a lot of people that have that. Where you on
I mean, so you're telling me that Ike couldn't continue to maintain his rise to stardom just as Tina did, being in the band, being the manager.
What did better, the Ike and Tina Turner review or the Ike Turner review?
It didn't matter.
It did matter. It did matter because he.
But see, this is where we got this distortion of what is the success. Who is the one out front? I mean, J and B, don't be like, who up front this time? No, we just keep doing what we do, and whoever is they both been elevated because they've been handling their business.
Look, the Jackson 5 and the Jacksons were never as big as Michael Jackson.
Mike, right?
Right, but I'm saying they ate because of Michael Jackson, and as much as they like to sit up there and think that they're artists and everything, you are good artists, but the only reason why you're eating, or the primary reason why you're eating, is because of Michael.
Right, but Janet done built her own name. And
Janet was never tied in. She was never part of that orbit.
Absolutely.
But Marlon, Tito,
that's my point.
Jermaine,
that's my point. So when
Jackie,
if they can get you to believe,
Randy,
but then if they can get you to believe that you can't do it, you can't continue to elevate yourself because you don't have.
So let me ask you this question then, Craig. Is it hard for some black men to cheer for a black woman?
To care for a black woman?
Cheer. Yes.
I would say this, not a secure black man, no.
Okay. So if you imply that there's secure black men because of the laws of opposite, that means that we have what? Insecure black men?
Absolutely.
Okay, and so would an insecure black man cheer on a black woman?
Goals, then that's your problem, not hers.
Right. But what I'm saying is that's real, man. What I believe that some of the brothers are reacting to is that Kamala Harris is a successful black woman. And Kamala Harris, by choice of who her mate was, basically said, I don't need a...
So let me ask you this. What message does that send to the next generation of young black men who are seeing that these older men, if you will, who are her counterparts, can't support her because they came through the same generation, and she is the one at the doorsteps of ascending to the highest office in this land or in the world. and you got black men who are in power positions, but are saying, I can't support her because she's ready to take that step, and I'm against that because of my own insecurity.
Yes.
What does that say?
Yes.
Right. I hear you saying that that's what's happening, but what message does it send?
Oh,
That's the danger.
It's
real danger.
But it's been a danger. It's been a danger for a minute, and we just kind of sweep it under the carpet as if it doesn't exist. But it's there. Misogyny is real. We objectify women. That's real.
The plantation was sending when they quartered and drawed a black man between four horses.
But we've been off the plantation for a while. But there's still a plantation mindset.
To us.
I'm sorry.
These are the reasons. I mean, it's not like those things have just gone away and dissolved. No.
All right.
These are the things that you say epigenetically we still dealing with.
Yeah, but some of this stuff is just male. Some of this is gender based.
You guys return to your neutral corners.
Hey, now I'm not going to sit here and say that there ain't no women who have these insecurity issues too.
Oh yeah. And I was just saying, look, find you a woman that loves men. I want to get this last caller. Can I get the last caller?
Thanks.
All right, thanks, Craig. Caller, welcome to the program. Good morning. Hello. Going twice. What up, J-Man? Did you get over to hear Ricky Dillon? I rolled past too. Did you see what there was some group up. They weren't good. And then I hadn't heard. No, they weren't good, dude.
They weren't good.
And they were all had their own mics, and they weren't good.
That McGahee?
No. They McGahee and Rock. They're good. They're very good.
They could have had off day.
No, it wasn't them. Who? No, not this group. Oh, did they? Okay. Yeah, not this group. These are. Oh, okay. I did get over there for a minute. I did. We're good seeing you, man.
Why you didn't do a call back? Make sure to call me.
Who?
Blew that opportunity. We don't have time. Gotta go.
Well, let me thank everybody for being part of the program. Debo, thank you. Harvey, thank you. Callers. Oh, yeah, and it's working too.
Oh, you're welcome, man.
Let me thank Senator Tammy Baldwin. All of you have made the program go today. Good Lord, willing, creek don't rise. Hope to talk to everybody tomorrow. And as always, go from this place in peace.